A series of allegations made by parliamentarians contributing to the speech from the throne debate today. MP for Michael and Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable V. Alfred Gray, alleged bribery during the recent election season. Janelle Noel Ferguson has the story.
Up to $1,000 per vote is what MP for Michael alleged that the former administration offered to many residents in his constituency in their, quote, desperate attempt to have him ousted. Mr. Gray said despite their efforts, the Bahamian people spoke loud and clear.
I'm told that they were offering $1,000 per vote. In my constituency, $1,000 per vote. They spent almost $6,000 in Long Key with 16 voters. Now, I know the reason for that was to get me out at all cost.
FNM leader Dr. Hubert Minnis strongly objected to this and called for the Speaker of the House to have Mr. Gray withdraw his statements, but his request was denied.
Can you present the proof?
The member for...
If he can present no proof, Mr. Speaker, then I ask that he withdraw.
The member for Kalani, you have to prove that it's not true.
No. The Speaker produces the
So,
proof.
Mr. Speaker, you're saying that going forward, I can throw out an irresponsible remark, and the person who I throw that has to prove that is
What
wrong?
you're doing is you're giving an opinion that the remarks are irresponsible.
Meanwhile, in debating the speech from the throne, MP for Central Grand Bahama, Nico Grant, noted that the promise to extend concessions to East and West Grand Bahama was a promise made 10 years ago that was never fulfilled.
They did not do it then, and it is doubtful that they would do it any time over the next 5 years. The implementation of such initiatives have many challenges, and the consequences are far-reaching.
But it was the MP for Angliston, Glenys Hannah Martin's contribution that outlined the government's plan for the country.
That is why, in addition to the two imperatives of reduction of crime and creation of jobs, we see a commitment to some other things in this speech from the throne. We see a commitment to housing, including even rental housing. We see a commitment to national health insurance, which allows access to health care. We see a commitment to education, in literacy, in numeracy, and technical training. We heard about the University of the Bahamas. We talk about the development of our cultural expression.
Members from the Senate will debate the speech from the throne on Monday, while debate on budget communication will commence when the House resumes next week. Janelle Noel Ferguson, ZNS News.
MP for Tall Pines, Leslie Miller, also addressed queries over the mortgage relief plan.
The program is already being criticized by many in here that we are trying to bankrupt the banking system. The banks in this country, Mr. Speaker, pays no income tax, pays no corporate taxes, as they do in every other destination in this region. Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago, you name any country in this Western Hemisphere. The Bahamas has the best tax regime that enabled all of the banks in this country to make more profit in this destination, comparatively speaking, than they do in any other destination where they have operations. And all you're asking them to do is to ease the burden.
Meantime, MP for St. Anne's, Hubert Chipman, said he was disappointed that the speech from the throne offered no new ideas on education and little to no details on how the immigration problem will be dealt with.
Enforcement of laws should be carried out as the consequences to those participating in the hiring of illegal immigrants.
Y'all in charge now. Y'all fix it.
I dare say, in most instances,
Fix it.
that corruption is involved. Corruption is involved.
Fix it.
We must also find a way to continue to conduct regular and routine arrests and repatriate illegal immigrants. Mr. Speaker,
Fix the crime. Fix them.
we must also ensure that the timely and transparent regularization of the long-term residence and registration of children born to Bahamian women married to non-Bahamian spouses be regularized.
House members spent about 6 hours Wednesday afternoon debating the resolution thanking the Governor General for delivering the speech from the throne. Most of them also congratulated Prime Minister Perry Christie for leading the Progressive Liberal Party's election victory and the new House Speaker and his deputy on their appointments. They also paid tribute to former PLP supporter and advisor, the late Al Jarrett, who was laid to rest earlier this week. Moving the debate was Member of Parliament for Marathon, Minister of Education Jerome Fitzgerald, who noted that education is a great equalizer which bears no discrimination. He says today's society demands more interest in the technology field.
It is essential, Mr. Speaker, so that we align our students with their interests and strengthen their education and training in these areas. Our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, inclusive of Trinidad, Jamaica, and Barbados, and indeed the world, are already light years ahead of us in transforming their educational system to meet the standards of their workforce.
Fitzgerald also announced Wednesday that former Attorney General, Education Minister, and Member of Parliament for Fort Charlotte, Alfred Sears, has been appointed Chairman of the College of the Bahamas Council. Seconding the resolution was Member of Parliament for Fox Hill and Foreign Affairs and Immigration Minister Fred Mitchell, who dedicated his contribution to maintaining safety throughout New Providence. When he touched on immigration, Mr. Mitchell admitted that illegal immigration is a concern, but so is legal immigration. Minister Mitchell anticipates a transformation of the House of Assembly meantime.
Have to be properly supported in staffing, in allowances, in remuneration, which will not be possible in our time, but we must set the pace for the future. I would like the place to be more efficient and make comparisons to the time, for example, when the Brits, who are spending hundreds of billions of pounds, spend a couple of days on a budget debate and then move on.
Well, Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie is closing out this evening's session of the House of Assembly focused on the social issues plaguing the country. Mr. Christie told House members that the former administration failed in the general elections because they didn't meet critical needs of the Bahamian people during difficult times in the economy.
Acute problems in our country that sometimes we do not know. Public policy today does not appear to be informed as to the suffering and the pain in this country. We could not be informed for us to take these prestigious projects, no matter how important the Gateway Road is, no matter how important it is in terms of facilitating traffic. When people cannot eat, for God's sake, cannot eat. It's a numbing experience for them, and they give up. Those are the conditions that exist today in this country. That's why we won. Because you did not know about them, or if you did, your policies did not reach them.
Leader of the opposition, Dr. Hubert Minnis, has responded to the Prime Minister's comments concerning the government's investigation of the possibility of returning the majority share of the Bahamas Telecommunications Company Limited to the Bahamian people. Here's what he had to say on that.
I think that's a dangerous, irresponsible statement for the Prime Minister to make, unless the Prime Minister, BTC is up for sale and the Prime Minister, some magical van, find all this extra funds to purchase BTC provided.
Because you did not know about them, or if you did, your policies did not reach them.
And Dr. Minnis says he hopes that the government is guided by open and transparent policies.
I was very amazed at the statement made, what I think a careless statement, made by the Minister of State, the member for Mr. Halkitis, when he said that it would be a case-by-case basis. Case-by-case. God, what you're basically saying is, listen, if I like you, you get it. If I don't, you don't get it. If you're a PLP, you get it. If you're F&M, my God, let's move in the first world where we have transparency. I am very ashamed of that statement.
BTC says despite what you may have heard, there will be no major disruptions in cell phone service this Labor Day holiday weekend. BTC's Brand and Communications Vice President Marlon Johnson says the company will be performing a major transformation of its platform late Sunday night into early Monday morning. In addition to that, between midnight and 3 a.m., no international calls can be made.
We're installing a brand new billing network as well as a brand new SMS text box. So for our prepaid customers on late Sunday night going into Monday morning, they will see some disruption in service. What prepaid customers will experience is starting around 10 p.m. on Sunday night to about 6 a.m. on Monday morning, they won't be able to top up their phones. So we want our prepaid customers to top up their phones before 10 p.m. on Sunday night.
Now, BTC officials are employing customers to make alternative plans in the event they have to use their telephones. Additionally, during the months of June and July, BTC will upgrade its 2G and 4G networks and the billing platform for more efficient use for cell phone subscribers. The question many have for BTC officials meantime is compensation. Mr. Johnson said each customer won't receive compensation, but BTC will hold a major promotion to accommodate customers.
At the end of the day, what we want to be able to do is do a fantastic promotion to say, although we can't give folks back one-for-one compensation, what we can do is we can run a fantastic promotion on this new prepaid billing platform with a new SMS box. That'll make people understand that, yeah, we understand you're paying, and we're prepared to spend some money and give back to our customers in something tangible, and we're looking forward to that.
For another consecutive year, employees at the South Beach Clinic have received the floating trophy for outstanding work in child protection education. It's reportedly an important element in the overall development of the nation, particularly as various forms of child abuse have steadily increased over the last 3 years. Coordinator for the SCAN unit, Nursing Officer 1 Althea Neely, says the increase is both at the sexual and physical levels.
It is that it's not just here, it's global. And what happened, we find that the abuse and neglect of the children, that's the major group right there, neglect. But many times neglect goes unnoticed, okay? People are really focusing on sexual abuse, but we address all types of abuses of the children. We find that the physical abuse too now is increasing, and we do have an increase in incest. But we do know that there are lots of cases that are not reported. And so our figures, when you look at our stats, you might find that you might think it's a lot, but there is much more. And one abuse of a child is one too many.
Mrs. Neely says the clinic has become more aggressive in its educational campaigns, such as the campaign employees at the South Beach Clinic are being awarded for. She's urging parents to be more vigilant and listen to their children.
Really believe your child. Whenever children come to you, it's really not far from the truth. They would hardly ever lie about abuse. And so listen to your children, know where your children are, know what they are doing, and really know what is happening in your household. Because many times the perpetrator is locked in and the perpetrator is in the home. We want to encourage them about letting their kids just accessing the internet. In fact, the internet services should not be in a family room, somewhere in the child's bedroom, but it should be out in an area where all the family can look and see what they're doing. And mothers, you need to have parental control also. We want to encourage you to pray with your kids and pray for your children. And, talk to your children about their body parts, their sexuality, and let them know how special they are. And I'm sure if you keep the communication lines open with your children, let me tell you something, that's a plus for you and for your child's safety.
Welcome to tonight's edition of the Business Beat, sponsored by Royal Fidelity. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Let's take a look at what's making business news today.
Bahamas Hotel Association Vice President Frank Comito responding to the government's announcement to reduce hotel occupancy taxes for existing properties in Grand Bahama by 50% for 5 years for all properties filing returns under the newly introduced electronic reporting system. Mr. Comito noted that as today's consumer is very price conscious, and savings like this can stimulate more buying decisions, particularly for groups and extended stays. Increasingly, Mr. Comito says consumers pay attention to the taxes and fees which are added to the room rate before making a buying decision. Seeing this difference, he maintains, will help some consumers to choose Grand Bahama. CIBC First Caribbean International Bank confirming that its Mall at Marathon branch was temporarily closed today due to an alleged robbery there. In a press release, Retail Banking Director Richard Phillips confirmed that no members of staff or customers were physically injured during the robbery. He, however, noted that counseling services have been called to the branch to assist members of staff who are understandably shaken by the incident. Customers may conduct their business at Palmdale and Harbor Bay CIBC First Caribbean branches. In international business, the United States economy grew at an annualized 1.9% in the first 3 months of 2012, less than the 2.2% first thought. The slower growth rate, which was in line with forecasts, followed a modest downward revision in consumer spending. From regional business, an International Monetary Fund mission visited Grenada earlier this month for the 2012 Article 4 consultation, which is a bilateral discussion which the IMF typically has with its members once a year. During this consultation, a staff team visits the country, collects economic and financial information, and discusses with officials the country's economic developments and policies. Remember, you can send us an email or join us on www.znsbahamas.com or become our friend on ZNS's official Facebook page.
And that will end tonight's edition of the Business Beat, sponsored by Royal Fidelity. I'm Thurs Munnings. Thanks so much for watching.
It's time for today's Doctor's Hospital Health Tip. Stress can ratchet up your blood pressure, but a fit physique might cancel out the effects. It's true, being a well-muscled machine helps your blood pressure return to normal faster following a stressful event. The more body fat you pack, the more trouble your body will have in getting your blood pressure cooled down after stress. And this relationship probably explains, in part, why stress and obesity are connected to high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease. Few things age your arteries faster than high blood pressure, so keep yours under control with these simple steps. Opt for meals that are more in line with a healthy diet. Get moving and work out. Buy a tape measure and track your waist size. Get connected with friends and family because loneliness can boost blood pressure as well. Meditation may lower your blood pressure also. So remember, keep fit and keep your blood pressure in check.